This is the way to break your organization down and start thinking about, okay, how can I apply digitalization, and how can I digitally transform my organization to get on that flywheel to create E+1 experiences? So right at the very top, naturally, it's where we meet the market, right? And that's typically where a lot of people start. And that's at the engagement layer. And that's thinking about where are people today, and because they're physically places and digitally places, right? So how do I make sure that I'm present for them physically if I need to be physically, if I have a physical product, car, or if I'm digitally, money's kind of today the digital thing, where do I need to be digitally? And oftentimes we need to be both physically and digitally there. So right out of the engagement layer, you're starting to think about where's the client, where do I need to meet them, what's the job that they're trying to do? And if it's physical and digital, how do I combine those and blend those so people can get the processes they want done, like the car journey, physical, digital, interchangeable. And that's where it often starts. Right behind that is what we call the proposition layer. So that's what your products and services. And that's the idea of your application form or your straight-through processing. Starting to think about how can we reimagine how we'll help somebody to get their job done, and how will we amalgamate products and services at the engagement layer to help them achieve their goal. Because it's all about achieving the customer's goal. But the fattest layer in the 360 is the process layer. And I did it on a globe on that basis, because that's where the value is for most organizations. Yes, of course, there's value in giving people options to come to you, and rebundling and revitalizing your propositions, your products and services by being able to deliver them through digital means and methods. But actually the jam organizationally is around using digital technologies to create a digital footprint and the full end-to-end virtualization of delivering that buying experience or ultimately the service experience. So that's the top half, right? And what an organization needs to do is look at that and say, okay, well, where do we start? Do we start at the engagement layer? Because maybe you have to because of competitive factors. Maybe you have to because that's your opportunity to get ahead. If we think of banks created a digital access experience quite early because they believed that with the virtualization of money, that they could offer that with the take-up of mobile, that they should offer that and adoption rates. But actually, what was a significant driver of that motivation was right down at the process layer. Because we all had to troop into branches, or we had to get onto the contact center and wait to talk to somebody in order to transact our money. So this is where the double whammy comes in. You can potentially increase and put your product and service at the client's or the customer's fingertips through digital. Doesn't mean you're going to stop them coming into a branch, right? They can still do that as well. You can do both. But actually by the shift to virtual service, you can create incredible efficiencies at that process layer. Now, you can't do that unless you enable your organization with the humanware, the people, and you create the workplace that's a digital workplace, because you can't either build or deliver that and serve it unless you have that, unless you work through the human factor. And of course, human needs to be able to leverage digital and data and all the technologies and the operations to be able to virtualize the processes, the products and the propositions of the engagement layer. And the last one we have around it is the marketplace, because organizations are shifting now to saying, okay, how can we integrate our products and services into other people's domains and products and services? And the platform era has driven a lot of that. So the sixth one in the wraparound is, how can we think about plugging in our engagement, our proposition, enabling our processes or our people or our technology through integrating with third-party services. And that's the idea of platformization. Most people have a view that platforms are all about the social platforms. They are, of course, but it's one definition of platforms. Again, we cover a little bit of that in the book. But very simply, there's platforms out the front, which are ways that you can think about creating a platform for buyers and sellers. So lots of the trading platforms are like that. Or placing ourselves into platforms such as social, so we can be there in the conversation where it's happening. But platforms more and more have actually become more important down here, because lots of organizations, old and new, don't have time to build the technology anymore, right? They want to use the technology to be on the E+1 wave, and that's getting faster and faster. So smart organizations, Microsoft, the Salesforces, and so on and so forth, are down here at the bottom creating platforms to enable organizations to go faster at the top layer.